TCK. Surprise, Choco friends, it was me, Kai, all along. Thursday's normally the day where we have our Kai Plays segment, but as you may have noticed in the news this week, we actually have a little bit of a change of plans. From July 1st through July 7th, TCK actually celebrates its birthday with our Founders Week celebration. And keeping with that, tonight on July 1st, we have the first of our events for the week, which is going to be Trivia Night. We've got a little bit of organization that we've got to do to get everybody in place and all the prizes ready to go. So in the meantime, if you haven't seen any of our previous segments, please do make note of the link available below the live stream. That goes to our current Tiltify campaign and our current nonprofit venture. We should be back here for you in just a few minutes. It looks like most people have been eagerly anticipating this since we announced it last night, so anybody who's going to be here is pretty much ready to go. Thank you for your patience, and we'll be back in a minute. There we are, and we are now live.
Hello.
So I'm going to cover the rules both in voice, but I'm also going to type them out since Nefertiti can't join us in voice chat at the moment.
Hey, I mean, that's a cool, that's got to be a cool moment though, right?
Okay, so like last year, we're going to have multiple choice questions, but unlike last year, I've got a couple of true-false ones in there, just to kind of add a little bit of variety.
Okay, so am I good to go down and talk to you guys? Okay, and we're going to give both of them? Okay. Okay.
Let me place down some waymarks.
Okay, sounds good. Jumping down.
Is there enough room for this, or is D going to be kind of smushed?
Hey, Glenn, sorry.
Nobody
need 4.
What's that?
Nothing.
Oh, no, that 4 is G.
Ah, yes, G.
Yep.
Could move A over a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's fine. We'll just hide behind the pillar, make your life harder.
Yep. All right.
Yep.
So as I mentioned in chat, the premise here is I'm going to go ahead and put one of the questions in chat. Everybody will have a minute to select their answer. I'll record where you're standing, and then I will announce the correct answer. As I mentioned, the questions are split 14 and 14 between the current game and other installments in the Final Fantasy series. And there will be a prize for best of each category.
Yeah, so,
All right.
I'm ready to lose. Let's go.
Tyrion.
I'm an expert at losing.
Does that show the biggest loser?
Yeah, let's go.
I don't think that's quite what they meant, but that's all right.
Person with the lowest score wins.
Oh boy.
Oh, I have a chance now. Yes.
First question. And I'll read these out as well, so you'll have a slight advantage if you're in chat. But
yeah, so I heard about what happened.
Please forgive any typos. I did write these in advance and I spell checked them, but a lot of Final Fantasy proper nouns are not something that's in spell check. So first question. In Final Fantasy X's Spira, summoners pilgrimage to defeat the fiend known as Sin, thereby becoming high summoners. Which of these summoners did not achieve that honor? So option A is Braska.
God.
Option B, Gandalf.
The Gray.
Option C, O'Holland.
Was there anything else, or did I just cover everything?
And option D, Izisaru.
I don't even know those names. I I
it
will
sounds
vote
like
for B
Gandalf.
because you yellow.
Good old Gandalf.
Gandalf the Grey.
That's the definition
All
of
right.
third party. It is
We are
someone
just
who
waiting
battle
for Le Chien.
who comes in to assist in combat.
All right. Looks like most people are clustered
So
around
he's
A
not
and
part of
B,
this
with
system.
Xion way off over by himself in D.
For one call,
Final answers in
and then he
3,
heard the calls from the
2,
other firm.
1.
Are you still
The answer
confused?
is D, Isaru. Isaru actually quit his pilgrimage before completing it, whereas Gandalf was so well known that the Gandalf Thunder Plains in both Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy XIV are named after him.
He can. He can see
Probably the only one I got right.
Nerd.
Hey, I just like Final Fantasy X.
It's a solid game. I really enjoyed that game.
Yeah, it's been like 20 years since I played it.
I feel that. All right. I'm using a random number generator to pick the questions here.
What's going on? If he hears the one called the Shant and he was just walking, he's like, "What shit?" He walks over and he sees that there's
Alright.
one of. I mean, and he's an experienced player. He probably knows what fighting sounds like. Let's go ahead
Time
and
for the
see
next
what-
question. The areas open to exploration in A Realm Reborn are as diverse as the people who live there. Ul'dah sits within Thanalan, Gridania within the Black Shroud. What is the isle upon which Limsa Lominsa makes her home known as?
I know this one. I know this
Option
one.
A is Nebradia. Option B, Ogomoro. Option C, Goland. And option D, Vilbrand.
I probably shouldn't have said that I knew this one. I got excited.
It's the only reason why I'm standing here.
Thanks for the freebie.
God damn it.
Getting the big brain plays. All right. It looks like everybody chooses D. Whoops.
For some reason.
For some reason.
I wonder
It's 'cause
why.
we know this game very well.
Let's see. Sarum, Cam, Cass, Icy, and Xion. Just writing down who has chosen what answer here. The answer is, of course, D, Vilbrand. Everyone is awarded 1 point.
Oh my god. Okay. Poker face.
Poker face
Poker
time.
face Theron.
Limber up. We got 26 questions to go. All right. Let me see here. Random number generator. Don't fail me now. Oh, I think you guys will like this one.
A question.
What's that?
It's missing an S.
Question.
Question.
See, that would have flown under the radar because I have a chat blocker, but you had to call me out. I see how it is. So this is a finish the quote. Finish this quote. Such devastation. Option A. This was not my intention. Option B. It's exciting, isn't it? Option C. It calls to mind the fall of Dalamud. Or option D. Kupo?
Oh, god damn it. Oh, I want it so bad.
You're a cruel person.
I'm just a mean,
Oh.
hateful person.
I want to choose Koopa so bad.
If I was doing worse in trivia right now, I probably would.
I have a free question to burn, but I don't think this is the one I want to lose enough.
Well, I got through 27 of my 28 questions, and on the very last one, I went, you know what? Just for funsies. And so this is which one got spit out on the random number generator.
Hey.
That is another point for everybody,
Also, Koopa.
but also Kupo.
Now, if that would have been worth a half point just cause the memes, I would have taken it.
I might have considered it if I knew that somebody knew the answer and chose Kupo anyway, but figured we can all chuckle about it anyway. Alright, this one I've got to clear the spots because we're going to have a true or false question.
No.
Let me make sure I've got the right number here. Yep, okay. So this question, true or false? Once upon a time, creating a character in Final Fantasy XIV involved selecting a guardian deity, which also affected the player's starting elemental resistances. It's A for true, and B for false.
Body down.
I think probably you guys are going to get the bulk of the Final Fantasy XIV ones correct.
I wouldn't count on that.
That depends on how deep you went.
Oh no, I've never played this game before.
I've been playing for like less than a year.
But also, I am probably the only one of this group here that actually saw the elemental resistance on character creation.
I mean, I did also, but I was one of the last generation that got that before they went, this is a bad idea.
I remember when you had to put in your stat points manually.
Oh yeah, uphill both ways in the snow.
Yeah, I feel like when Final Fantasy XIV first came out, I had tried it. That's why I did remember that. But I never got into the game.
Let's see, which number is this one? Oh, okay. This is not a true or false, so we do need all 4 markers back.
Can you save presets out in the open or no?
Yes.
You can, but
Yes.
I don't want to get rid of any of my presets right now. I'm lazy.
I see.
But that's kind of my thing. Although some of them, to be fair, I'm probably saving for no reason.
Let's see if this one goes a little bit deeper, if this gets anybody stumped. In the age leading up to the 6th Umbral Calamity, the War of the Magi rages, plunging the world into an apocalyptic flood. 3 major players took the stage in this conflict. Amdapor, Mach, and... Option A is Allig. Option B, Nim. Option C, Zenith. And option D, Lost Athnath.
Wow, this one's actually difficult.
Going deep into that lore. I see we got a bunch of people clustered at B.
Hint, it's the Namazu.
The Namazu.
I feel like all of the questions should have had a Koopa answer. Just saying.
I mean, if they did, that's what everybody would pick, I think.
That's what G is for.
Oh, yeah. You just gotta find
Or
it.
like a chocobo answer.
Whoops.
The answer is Que.
Yellow Giga, who is that?
Oh, I actually wasn't sure about that one. Because Andapor and Mach were the two that I knew.
Nim gets
Are you
forgotten.
telling me you didn't play the Scholar quest line? You didn't pay attention to that?
Oh, no, not at all. I did remember we were having this conversation like 2 days ago.
We were literally having this conversation yesterday.
Oh, it wasn't 2 days ago?
No. It was literally yesterday.
Oh. Alright, let's see how big of a curveball this one's gonna be.
Pretty sure it was 2 days ago.
I'm pretty sure it was yesterday, Sarah.
No, because yeah, whole 60 dungeons. But we did that 2 days ago.
Oh. Was that
Alright.
2 days ago? It might have been.
Yeah, see?
Next question time.
I don't know, they all blend together.
The introduction of playable Viera in Final Fantasy XIV was welcomed by a great many people, but we've seen very few outside of Shadowbringers content. Which of these places most accurately describes where the Viera are from on Hydaelyn?
Oh boy.
Option A, the Golmore Jungle. If my mouse would work. Option B, the Arguay Woods. Whoops, Golmore Jungle didn't post, did it?
It did, but it just got, it's with the question.
Oh, whoops.
So I just watched gaming. Gaming's not happening at all. I just watched this
Option
replay.
C,
So,
Bosnia.
so Lauren-
And option D, Trade City of Dorter.
So there's Gigas. There's 3 of them.
Hmm.
Killed Bora, and one of them continued to attack the Shant after the Diggle was already dead and they were eaten alive.
All right, we got a couple
Now,
for A.
Uh-oh.
We've got one
Uh-oh.
for D. We got one for B.
Uh-oh.
Starting to see some people branching off.
Uh-oh. Kupo?
Let me see where everybody's clustered here.
So doesn't that constitute friendliness?
So we've got Kaomshion and Icy for A, Cass for B, and Saren for D. See how long I can drag out the suspense here. The answer is A, the Golmore Jungle.
Damn it. I thought Trade City sounded like something for Reverend Aster.
You're not wrong. The Trade City of Dorter is in Ivalice. It's from Final Fantasy Tactics.
Ah, god damn it.
Whenever I have questions like these, I try to pick names that are actually from the Final Fantasy games, so it's like, I don't know, maybe.
I feel betrayed.
Yatta! That's 1 point for Icy, Shion, and Kaom. I'm gonna have to tally these up separately. There's a lot of things to keep track of on my tracker here.
Nope, I'm losing.
I normally would keep track of who's got what, but when I had to use the random number generator, things got a little off the charts. So we're going to go back to our roots a little bit with this next question. This is going to be one of the more classic games. We've been in Final Fantasy XIV territory here for a little bit.
God damn it. I'm definitely not winning.
Me either.
And then one of the Gigas continued to fight her, and she got up and started fighting.
Next question.
The Gigas. Then
Final
laid down
Fantasy
again.
hasn't always let the
And
player
they were,
pick
like,
party
all
members.
around
In fact,
it
the first
before.
main series installment that lets you pick party members at will was
Runs in and
option A,
which you heard it calls
Final
shame.
Fantasy IV,
So ancient being
Option
an
B.
experienced player knows what the sound of combat
Final
sounds.
Fantasy V,
So
option C, Final Fantasy VI, or option D, Final Fantasy VII.
yes. Yes, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Hmm.
The ones that aren't about 14 are probably going to be a bit of a stumper, but you guys might surprise me.
they were. And again, according to our rules,
Let's see, we've got Saren
I-
for A,
I'm really torn here.
KM for B, and then we've got Cass, Icy, and Shion for C. Is that about right?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. The correct answer is
I hope it's not A.
C, Final Fantasy VI.
Damn it! Or
I thought it was either 4 or 6. I just couldn't remember which one.
nobody was. Nobody.
I just
had
guessed
talked
because
about
7 was the
it.
first one I
They
ever
were
played.
just laying down around an old
members, I saw it.
and then Jason came in to be running it, and then the fighting continued.
Give me just one moment here
That's
to
all.
correct
Yes,
something
that's
on
all.
my end. I'll be right back.
In the story.
Yeah,
Sorry, I
don't
am
they
back.
just kind of like... Kai, in 4, they just kind of come and go. You don't change them, right, when you're playing Kai plays?
Correct. You
Yeah.
have some flat party members, and then some other people sort of join you as you go, similar to what happened in Final Fantasy II. But they will randomly join and leave your party outside your control, unfortunately.
Okay. I'm gonna try to boost back up here because I just need to know definitive.
I'm definitely losing.
We can lose together.
We go together.
No, because you don't have. I'm the one with the lowest point right now. I'm pretty
Aw.
sure.
All right, this one
I
is
don't
going to
know
be
what my
back in
points
the
are.
realm of Final Fantasy XIV.
I'm gonna drown my sorrows.
All right, so in the times before Eorzea became known as a realm reborn, a certain legatus sought to subdue the continent by bringing Dalmud down upon our heads. Who spearheaded Project Meteor? Was it A, Noah von Gebranth? Was it B, Nail von Darnus? Was it C, Nerva Jaegalvis? Or was it D, Regula van Hydrus?
Mr. Stay Hydrated.
This is kind of weird. Asking her to come back to stats. I'm sorry.
I'm certainly not disappointed with the outcome of the Final Fantasy XIV questions so far. I wonder if this one will hold true with that.
I am. I wanted to get all of them right and have everyone else be done. This is not working out for me. Shion, you gotta pick.
Just waiting on Shion to make a selection here.
Need to get some answers about, like, were Moose and Laura grouped?
I'm just gonna go with the group. I have no clue.
Were they
I'll be honest
considered
with
part of the same group?
Wow, have
That's
you
what I'm
even
doing
played
half the
this
time.
game, Shion?
Also,
You don't... So the
Because-
problem with the
yeah, because
Legatuses is that they're all so close in name that I never remember all of them.
But it's Nail. It's like it's the ruby weapon. The ruby weapon fight has Zalamud falling.
It still ain't gonna help me that much.
So the correct answer was B, so everybody does get 1 point. It was Nail von Darnus.
that's why that's why I'm asking.
Can I get an extra point because I look adorable?
I will take it under advisement.
Mac is little, so killed her in a fair fight,
Look at me.
and they were.
Can I get an extra point if I admit Warrior is better than Gunbreaker?
I mean, that's just facts.
All right.
He does know that. And yet he's trying to call a rule where it's not ancient.
The next question takes
What
us
if
a
I give you
couple
a
games
stuffed
back,
alpha?
but not too far. The next question is,
Couple would be 11.
in Final
Wait.
Fantasy XII, the Arcadian
Oh.
Empire is ruled by which family?
Everybody else was laying down.
Is it A, the House of Solidor?
Yeah.
Is
Hey,
it
Laura,
B, the House of Solaris?
can you answer this real quick? Were
Is
you and
it
Moose considered
C,
group at that
the
point?
House of Galvus? Or is it D,
I know
the
you were
House of
dead, but
Fronsenberg?
when you were alive, were you and Moose in the same group? Like, were you a herd?
This one probably
No.
will be challenging, but
Because
I don't know. I just followed people this time.
Unfortunately, I never played 12, but
I did, but I don't remember anything.
I don't even know which game 12 is.
oh man,
It's the Evilise.
yes.
Oh, is it?
One of the Evilise games.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the Evilise games. Okay.
Yeah, because Tactics is also an Evilise game.
Yeah.
Well, you guys guessed correctly.
Let's round now.
The name of a spa. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Today I learned.
See, I wanted to say Solaris. Why did I think Solaris is a thing?
I don't know.
What is Solaris?
It's probably a
Uh,
brand of something.
A bunch of people
Google-o.
from Warframe?
Hey, was that just a random word you came up with?
Yeah, it sounded a bit like Solidor. Apparently there's a Russian film by that name from 1972 and a remake in 2002. Who knew? Not this guy.
I'm being tricked by Kai's manipulations.
Alright, let's try another Final Fantasy XIV question.
Hey, sorry.
but gaming is
This is going to be niche, but of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, which of the following does not have their own exclusive triple triad card? Is it
Questions only Kai's know.
is it A, Louisoix Leveilleur? Is it B, Thancred Waters? Is it C, Papalimo Totolimo?
And
Or
then
is it D?
Shane saying, it's like, well, how do you know we're friendly?
Menphilia
He was-
Ward.
He's an experienced player. He knows what the sound is.
Hmm.
So we got one for Louisoix, we got one for Thancred Waters, we've got one for Papalimo,
Oh.
Totolimo.
And now she was wondering who to believe.
Got two for Papalimo Totolimo. And
don't believe
I
any
had to
of
look
us.
through my triple triad cards first.
ah, all right. And one for Menphilia Ward.
What?
Papalimo Totolimo.
I knew that. Their card, his card is with Ida.
With Ida. Yep.
Really?
Yep. Like I knew Louisoix had one. I know Thancred had one. I have them in Philia
He
one.
has 5.
So it's
I'm-
left Papalimo.
I'm outraged because Minfilia gets her own card.
Uh-huh.
She does,
Here,
but
hold on.
Papalimo
Let
and
me,
Ida
uh,
are grouped.
They're always together.
Oh,
Even their paintings are the two of them together.
That's still dumb.
You know what the
That's
worst
the
part is?
wonderful.
Is Menphilia is a rank 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Is
Think
it
about
the
that
power
for
of
a minute.
loading screens? Is that her ability?
Yes. It makes
get
the
stuck in the loading
opponent
screen.
not be able to play because they
He,
can't see.
actually, I do have Thancred. Thancred's 3-star. That's even worse. She's
He has a
better
bunch
than
though. Are
Thancred.
they all 3 stars? Because Tancred has one for each expansion.
There's a chance no
Uh-oh.
one's going to get this one. I threw this one in there for a couple of specific people that I knew had played this game, but you play the hand you're dealt.
Like gaming.
So Final Fantasy XI, our sister MMO, has some interesting playable races. Which of these races
And
are
gaming
not
doesn't
among them?
necessarily-
So you cannot play as these races. Is it
Oh, Aaron, send me your mind powers.
is it A, the Gulka? Is it B, That's not how you write B, Kai. Come on. Is it B, the Mithra? Is it C, the Gareth? Or is it D, the Taru Taru?
I know what this one is.
Hmm.
Oh, do you?
And remember, this
Okay.
is races you can't play as in Final Fantasy XI.
So he came in.
Wow, we have a
This was gonna be my
consensus.
guess. Oh, she unannounced it.
Yeah, I'm giving everybody a freebie in this. I watched Ninja play a lot of Final Fantasy XI.
Okay, so
I knew Mithra and I knew Taru Taru for sure, but I wouldn't know between A and C.
No, yeah, I knew this one as well. The Galka are the Rokugan-looking ones.
All right. You guys surprised me. 1 point for everybody.
Now you just need a question about spell chains and however the hell those are supposed to work in 11.
Wait, don't try don't try to make sense of how the combat works in that game.
I tried.
Now-
You'll hurt everyone.
I looked at a spreadsheet and it gave me a migraine.
Now ask the question. Only Saren would know.
Well, ask and ye shall receive, because there's an okay chance that this one's Saren exclusive, but we're about to find out.
Oh, now I felt the pressure. God damn it.
Dun, dun.
Next question. We all know that Nobuo Uematsu is a prolific composer of Final Fantasy, but the last installment he composed the musical scores for by himself was it A, Final Fantasy VIII? Was it B, Final Fantasy IX? Was it C, Final Fantasy V? Or was it D, Final Fantasy VII?
Ah, God damn it.
I'm guessing.
He's worked on other games outside of the four that I've listed, but he had done all of the music for those games pretty much by himself right up until this title.
The other thing that's confusing in the video is that there seem to be a lot of time.
I am not confident.
It's like,
Because the
I'm-
problem is the by himself thing.
Right.
I'm picking the only other Final Fantasy game I played.
Because I did
Music's
the hint in
pretty
voice,
in
I gotta
9.
do it in chat as well.
But even then, but then you can't hunt you, or the carnivores can't hunt you.
Since there's a lot of
You
indecision on
could
this one.
you could argue that the last one he made was Final Fantasy XIV. Because he still created a bunch of original music for Final Fantasy XIV, but he wasn't by himself because Soken was already part of the team.
So the answer is Final Fantasy IX. After Final Fantasy IX, the projects that Nobuo Uematsu worked on involved other composers as well, but staggeringly, all the way up to that point, he had been pretty much solely responsible for all of the music.
He also composed new versions of for the Final Fantasy VII remake, but he also wasn't by himself.
So that was Cam and Saren chose Final Fantasy IX, right?
Yes.
Yeah, should have stayed on that one. Oh well.
I had no clue, so I was just guessing.
Some of the-
Trusted in Vivi.
Some of the
I won.
questions are specifically about older games, and some of them are about the whole franchise, but have answers that are older games.
Yeah. And then we also have the many rules.
All right, we need some more 14 in this thing. So, random number generator feeds me this question here. I like this particular bit of lore, but I don't know if anybody else cares or has this little nugget tucked away. So, next question. Alamigo is our ally in the present day, but there are some for whom the fact that this was not so is in living memory. What is the name of the conflict in which Alamigo attempted to invade Gridania? Is it A, the 10 Years' War?
Plus, adding gaming to
Is
that
it
is
B?
like adding
The Autumn War? Is it C, the Osborne War? Or is it D, the Nibelheim Incident?
Oh my god.
G. The War of Ill Birds.
The War of Hilbert.
Is
Sloppy!
it Koopo? I want to vote for Koopo.
This one's just a fun little fact I had tucked away because like a nerd, I wrote a very short backstory for my character. And this is involved in that.
Wait, people are cheating.
We've got some clusters going on.
You can move, Saren, if you want to join us.
Do you trust the group? That is the question.
Yeah, do you trust us? Because I was wrong last time.
No. No, I'm gonna stay because I'm not a cheater. I'll lose with my integrity. Hey, no! Come on!
Time's up. The answer is the Autumn War. You'll hear little bits of knowledge about that in Quarry Mill and parts of Gridania. Some of the older NPCs will talk about, how they remember the Autumn War and all that. All right, so I believe that was Cam, Cass, Icy, and Shion when the timer went off.
Mm-hmm.
All right, scooted in at the last minute.
I honestly think that it's that basically because, like, hey, no, I guess
I can't believe I knew that.
I am impressed.
but
I thought you knew that, but
Hey, just because you cry in mind, it doesn't mean you're gonna get what you want. Like, he wanted.
I will lose with my honor and my integrity intact.
All right, next question. The 12 are said to watch over and protect us, and many city-states consider one among their number to be their patron deity. Limlane is the patron of Limsa-Lominsa, Nafaka for Gridania. Which of the 12 can be said to be the patron of Sharlayan? Is it A,
Go.
Nimia,
He's
B,
not my shit.
Bayergot,
To, stop playing
C,
the game.
Menfina, or is it D, Thaliak?
Alright. I guess.
There's quite a cluster going on there.
Hunt, kill, find AI.
Go away. Everybody go away. Everybody go away.
I'll give
I
you a
poisoned-
card.
All of you.
Like the players.
All right. Well, correct. The answer is D, Thaliak the Scholar. Of course, the Scholar main knows this one. All right, that's 1 point for everybody. You'd have my work cut out for me tallying these up when I'm done, but that's okay.
Now ask someone to describe the monk opener.
You punch things and punch things, do a roundhouse kick and punch things.
To me, you're not wrong.
I didn't plan this, but the random number generator is really cooperating, and I appreciate that. So speaking of godly beings, the primal Odin traces his origin back to an elder primal located somewhere else. What is that primal's name?
A staff.
Somewhere else, not someone else. You guys do. Is it A, Ozma?
AI. I'll just ask it.
Is it B, Valifor?
They're so nice.
Is it C, Eureka? Or is
We
it
are
D,
nice. We're not,
Bahamut?
we're not your personal. play the fucking
Remember,
game.
this is the primal responsible for the
Play-
origin of Odin.
Okay, if you can't play the game, if you can't survive by using the mechanics in the game that everybody else survives on, then die. That is the whole point of the game. If you can't survive, you die. If you don't like it, don't play the game.
Let's see, we got Cam, Saren,
Play
and Shion, and Cass. Looks
Is
like
Ozma
voting for Valve.
Is Ozma actually a primal?
it's fun and
I don't think he can answer that right now.
Answer that after for me. I want to know.
All right, and we got one vote for D. Bahamut. Okay. We do a countdown here.
Can I start bribing the judge?
you know, the names of players in the game, you know, act in certain ways. You know that.
All right, time's
you know,
up.
The person keeps asking for.
And the answer is
You know, they're abusing.
C.
That's-
Eureka.
I mean, keeps.
Oh,
Whoa.
Really?
Nice. So to answer your question, Ozma is not considered a primal. Ozma is a defensive construct created by the city of Mach. It's like an artificial magic life form. And there's a demi-Ozma, which is also located on Eureka, which is based on the same technology.
Wait, what?
But yes, Eureka creates weapons, hence Baldessian's arsenal, and those that possess those weapons become primals in their own right. Just like Odin, Zantetsuken, the sword which is actually the primal, traces its origin back to the Isle of Eureka, named for the primal that's there.
We should have realized that, considering the weapon is what's his face's weapon is the same as Zantetsuken's.
I was concerned that Kai was pulling a shenanigan again, and that's why he put Valifor there,
Uh-huh.
and I fell for it again.
Womp
Of course,
womp.
the guy who actually did Eureka and paid attention to it would know that.
Well, you know, the deepest of lore. Now, if you ask me any of the lore questions about what happened in Bosnia, I'm totally out of luck.
Well, you're like the one person that actually did Eureka, so you know.
And read the story, even.
Yeah, that really makes you the only person.
That self-saying She-Wolf in gaming too is succeeding at it. And She-Wolf in gaming started talking about.
All right, this is fairly recent, so
See,
hopefully this is a giveaway. But in Final Fantasy XV, a character is known for taking pictures everywhere the party travels. What is this character's name? Is it A, Proctor? Is it B, keyboard is not working, Prompto? Is it C, Penelo?
That-
Or is it
that's-
D,
straight up,
Porum?
like, hold on. That's
Unapologetically my favorite character in that game.
I want to ride my chocobo all day.
being respectful. Our Discord is open to members who are 16 plus. Our game serving requirements and Thanks. No offensive nicknames. Spam no sex.
You are, unsurprisingly, absolutely correct. The answer is Prompto.
I mean, you just asked a bunch of G posers who's the guy who takes photos.
Right, and the guy who's Chocobo obsessed of the Chocobo Knights, so I should not be surprised. Alright, question 3. Actually, we're getting back to some of the first couple questions I wrote when I was planning this.
Uh-oh. Before he was tired. This will be hard.
This is one of the easier questions if you guys pay attention to my inane rambling, but I don't expect it of you, so... So next question. Final Fantasy II is well known for being an extensive parody of which Star Wars film? Is it A, The Phantom Menace? Is it B, A New Hope?
Yeah.
Is it C, Empire Strikes Back? Or is it D, Return of the Jedi? I love that you guys are teleporting to your choice. I would also have accepted
yeah.
Shukuchi.
This is my Founders Week uniform,
That's fine.
and it's set to Blue Mage right now, so that's what I get.
All right, we
Hey,
get
KM disappeared. He didn't vote anymore. He loses his points.
we've got a little bit of hesitation, so I'll give you the countdown because I love stressing people out. All right, time's up.
Plus you
The
need
answer
to-
is
and
B,
you need to
A New
install-
Hope.
Easy.
I'd hope that would be one of the easier ones.
I don't even like I said, I don't even have
Takes me a minute to type all this out.
order on it.
Yeah, so Final Fantasy II was, like I said, a pretty extensive parody of the plot of A New Hope, right down to the Rebel Alliance, the Evil Empire, the giant
The only
spaceship. That's no moon. That's a destruction tower. Just the whole 9 yards.
I mean, you could almost argue that for any Final Fantasy game, though.
I mean, I guess, but there's a lot of evidence for this one. They actually rehashed some of the dialogue from rescuing Princess Leia when you dress up as an Imperial trooper and rescue the princess.
That's no moon, it's the Dalamoon.
I mean, we still have Biggs and Wedge to this day.
That's true.
All right, we're going back to 14 for a minute. See how nerdy we can get people. We're all Eorzeans, but for the geographically inclined, what is the name of the continental landmass that makes up most of the region we know as Eorzea?
Uh-oh.
Is it A, Ilsabard? Is it B, Aldenbard? Is it C, Mazalia? Or is it D, Mericidia?
Anyway, I'm gonna close out of Epic Games because every time I play it, automatically this is that much. I have ancestors, the Humankind Island. I've got Baldur's Gate 3.
I have a bone to pick with you after this, Kai.
Okay.
Cyberpunk 2077. Oh man. We'll have to pick Dragon Age 2, Dragon Origins, Dungeons 3.
And the answer is Aldenbard. That is the landmass that makes up most of the region we call Eorzea.
I don't think there's a B in Aldenard.
Evolution, Medieval Dynasty, Men of War.
In Aldenbard?
I
Aldenard.
think it's pronounced Aldenard with no B.
I have never
I believe
heard
you are
this
correct.
word.
My apologies.
Wait, I'm looking at the map right now. Where does it say that?
Warhammer 40k, Dawn of War 2, Dawn of War 2 Chaos Rising, Dawn of War 2 Retribution, and Warhammer Burning.
Aldenard. Oh my god!
That's
I
one
have
point
never
for
seen
Shion
that.
and Icy.
Huh.
For those of you who selected,
Aldenard.
yeah, I was typing these back to back, kind of last minute. Ilsabard and Aldenard turned into Ilsabard and Aldenbard. It's actually Aldenard. You are correct, Shion. Ilsabard is actually the landmass that the Garlean homeland is located on.
I knew that, but I never heard
Oh.
the other one until now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is there some? Are you going like back geographically, and I'm not following?
It's kind of hard to see it too, considering the color that they put like the large land masses as.
Right,
And
right.
also the letters, the Eorzean letters are weird to
Mhm.
read.
Alright, we just got a few more questions left at this point. Random number generator has given me lucky number 7, which is... Oh, I didn't
Who
realize
is the villain of Final Fantasy VII?
I didn't realize I'd done 2 questions about this guy.
Oh.
Next question.
Except
Odin made his first appearance in a Final Fantasy title in Final Fantasy III and has been a staple ever since. But he's missed a few appearances. Which game did not include Odin as a summon or an enemy?
I am not starting over somewhere
Was it
else.
Final Fantasy Tactics? Or perhaps it was the World of Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
Maybe it was Final Fantasy IX? Or perhaps it was Final Fantasy X? Remember, this is a game that Odin did not appear in.
Once again, going with the one I've played. I haven't even finished it, but it's the only other Final Fantasy game that I
I
consider
mean,
playable.
I have, but I know that I didn't play like all the side stuff that you can possibly do in that game, so I don't know. Also, I didn't know that non-main title Final Fantasy was a were gonna be options.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's the only time I did that.
I'm
Ryan,
right.
I'll
Is
explain
a
why in
world
just
of
a
Final
moment.
Fantasy?
I'm racking my brain, but I think I'm right. I'm going
Time's
to like
up.
every possible mob.
Gaming is still spouting shit.
The answer is D, Final Fantasy X. That's
Okay.
1
God
point
damn
for
it.
Shion. The reason why I picked a couple games that were outside the original lineup is because the answer was still one of the numbered titles.
Kept trying to top over me, and I was.
But yeah, he actually had no appearance in Final Fantasy X, which was kind of weird because, as I said, he's been in basically every single game, at least all of the numbered games.
I feel like
can't even
they
remember
kind
which
of
game
just
10
took
is.
Yojimbo to take the place of Odin in that game, considering his like attack is basically like a one-shot.
Yeah, Zanmato was basically that game's Zantetsuken, so they really didn't need Odin, even though, I mean, Odin and Zantetsuken shouldn't have anything to do with each other canonically, and Gungnir really should be his attack, but that's a hill to die on at another time.
No shit. He just
Nerds!
that what he thought was going to happen isn't what's going to happen. There was no rule break.
Alright, let's do a true or false. We haven't done one of those in a little bit.
If there was any rule break, it's on him and his group. For him for continuing to attack after there was a.
I'm gonna study for next year.
I don't know if this one's going to be difficult or not, but
If he wants to put
true or false? Final Fantasy VII was the 4th numbered game to receive a North American release and localization following Final Fantasy III. A for
What's
true,
the
B for
fourth
false.
numbered game. No.
No, I just told. I just.
Oh, the party's
I-
divided.
It's like. I just said
We go together.
he couldn't. You know, he couldn't.
I don't know if I'm right, guys. Just letting you know. You're going off my confidence. I got none.
Like when I was when I had that when I was trying to get that count. For
All
that
right.
What even is a Final Fantasy?
I just,
What is love? Odin, don't hurt me.
I need to talk.
The answer is
They wouldn't
true.
listen.
That's a
Never
point for
bothered.
Akam and Saren.
I knew that.
I
Yeah,
had a
so
feeling I was right, because we
was-
basically didn't get the first 3. We pretty much didn't get the first
Yeah.
3 in the US until for like a long time.
I am also pretty confident there was a point in time at like 2 in the morning where Kai went on a rant about the numbered Final Fantasies and how they were released.
yes, which I just put in chat. So weirdly, the release schedule was 1, 4 labeled as 2, 6 labeled as 3, and then 7. We just got 1, 2, 3, 7, but in reality we got 1, 4, 6, 7. Because counting's hard.
Yeah, I thought that was right. It was just the way the question was worded. I thought it was like tricky.
Yeah, it was weird because technically Final Fantasy Mystic Quest came out, which was not a numbered title, which would have made 7 the 5th game, but
Mystic Quest. That's
I-
the game I was talking about. That the Final Fantasy game that really, really sucked.
I didn't want to get necessarily like pedantic with it, but I didn't want the wording to be too confusing, so...
Oh, you can rebuy your dino.
All right, we've got, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 left. I think we're actually all out of true or falses at this point, so let's get things set back up. I felt like we had done 10 questions last year, and that didn't last nearly long enough. Hopefully this is a little bit more substantial for you guys. But I promise we have more prizes this year to make it a little bit more worthwhile also. Let's see, random number generator. The question is going to be... Oh, this one's kind of weird. I don't know if anybody's going to get this one. Which of the following Final Fantasy titles was the first to make guest characters fully playable party members? Not show up to do an attack, not, you know, kind of drop in and do whatever, but you could actually completely play as these characters. So was it A, Final Fantasy II? Was it B, Final Fantasy III?
I would not be surprised if gaming's attitude
Was it
makes
C, Final Fantasy IV? Or was it D,
because
Final Fantasy V?
I'm not sure what you mean by guest characters
Yeah.
being fully playable, though.
Yeah, so I'm gonna type out a hint here, but
and you think people don't want to play with something like that.
Are you talking like you can have them as the main character, or like you can control them as party members, like fully, or
Is it just like they join the party for like a part of the game and then they leave?
yeah, I'm gonna read this out as I type it here. But hint: this was the first time a party member joined temporarily and was fully controllable, but they weren't full/permanent party members.
Hmm. Now is 2 4 and is 4 6? That is the question.
No, I listed them with their proper release titles. Not the janky SNES era.
Wait, what? Why?
No cluster, only me.
She just doesn't. I think she just doesn't want to have this.
Final answers?
And like this might be the only like honestly this might be the only reason DB took the break that he took.
Sorry.
He wasn't able to
I feel like
take a
we're all
break.
gonna be wrong.
Yeah.
G.
It's
Okay.
but it's 3.
The answer is Final
Wow.
Fantasy II. Actually, it was that early where you got temporary party members that were fully within your control. Weirdly
I've been
enough, weirdly enough, Final Fantasy III had guest party members, but they didn't show up as party members. They would just occasionally show up, do one move, and then just disappear. And 4 followed in the footsteps of 2, but 2 did it first, weirdly. All right,
It seems too early to be like, when was the first time this happened?
right. Well, There had to be one question that nobody got right?
No, there has to be a question that only Saren gets right.
Oh, okay. Well, we've got a couple more tries. Let's see if we can find one of those. All right. This is still from the classic era, air quotes, classic era.
Oh, then this is not going to be it.
All right. So the Guardian forces, the summonable allies of Final Fantasy VIII, grant the party tremendous power. But this power comes with a strange, almost unknown side effect. What is it? Is it A, amnesia? Is it B, projectile dysfunction? Is it C, blindness? Or is it D, clinical depression? I thought you might get a kick out of that one. I wrote this as I was going to bed last night, and I was like, I'm just going to giggle over this and leave it on the list.
It took me a second.
Correct. The answer is A, amnesia. That is actually one of the plot points, and you guys have probably heard me complain about it more than once in voice chat.
I think the last time was also 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was literally like a day or two ago.
All right, let's 1 point for everybody. All right. I think we have 1, 2, 3. It's actually half and half between 14 and non-14 games. All right. I actually tried very hard to avoid picking anything from Final Fantasy VII, but
As if I was too easy.
no, I thought it
Because
was the
it's
easy
very
way to
popular.
plan it, because it's like, oh, well, I could just pick a bunch of questions from Final Fantasy VII. Next question.
And I would know all of them.
Fans of Final Fantasy VII may well recall the harrowing trials of breeding their golden chocobo. Along the way, several colors of chocobo must be bred. Which of these colors are not among them?
Oh, God.
So you do not breed. Is it A green chocobo? Is it B, a blue chocobo? Is it C, a white chocobo? Or is it D, a black chocobo? I'm sorry, a black chocobo. So the hint,
My
you
answer
do
is purple.
not breed this color in the game. D is black. Just in case you didn't see that, because it got buried with us responding.
Oh, okay, so they finished.
Man,
Yeah, that's
I-
what confused me for a second.
fucking
Yeah.
them, and now they didn't go here. Game is just now down.
I mean, we know Shion is right, but who would want a green chocobo?
I would want a blue chocobo.
I said they finished up. The ticket's not closed, but they're not in the support lobby anymore. Nobody is.
The answer is C, white. You do not breed a white chocobo in Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
I fell victim to misinformation in the days before common internet access, where there was a rumor that you could get a white chocobo, which would let you travel under the Midgar swamp to unlock special stuff. That's not a thing. That doesn't happen at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. The ticket's not closed. I'm not closing it.
Yeah, blue was for water. Green was, I think, for like the swamps, wasn't it? Or like
Yeah, there's
big
the
swamp
mountain
landy?
chocobo, the river chocobo, and the mountain and
mountain.
river chocobo, and then golden chocobo could cross the ocean.
To be fair, white chocobos are in the game. You
They
just can't
are.
breed them.
Yeah, they're only you race against them in the gold saucer. All right, we've got a slew of some Final Fantasy XIV questions, and then a couple more classics, and that's it for tonight. So, back on the subject of Final Fantasy XIV. Wow,
Final
Final
Fantasy.
Final
Fantasy.
Fantasy. Ooh, can you tell
Is
it's
that
been
the
a long
southern
day?
version of Final Fantasy?
Yeah. All right, so next up. Ul'dah has been led by both the Sultana and the Syndicate, the wealthiest individuals in the nation, for some time. Which of these individuals is not a Syndicate member?
To be ones that we wish were not syndicate members.
No. Is it A, Teleji Adeleji? Is it, if my mouse would work here, B, Dulala Dula? Is it C, Godbert Manderville? Or is it D, Gegaruju?
I got a bone to pick.
Oh? Did I misspell another name, I wonder?
No.
You are correct. Gegaruju was not a Syndicate member.
Well, your question is, which of these individuals is not a syndicate member? And technically, Teleji Adeleji, not a syndicate member.
Are we talking about because spoilers at the end of A Realm Reborn?
Yeah?
Yeah, so this has to take into consideration that people participating might not be that far along yet.
Well, just say.
I get you. I get you.
Technically, if I chose it and it told me I was wrong, I was going to argue. Is all I'm saying.
As well you should, but I wouldn't do that to you. All right. Next question, still in the ballpark of Final Fantasy XIV. Let me scroll up and get the right one here. How about another composer question? A great deal of the musical scores, wow, musical. A great deal of the musical scores in Final Fantasy XIV can be attributed to a well-known and beloved composer. Who might that be? Is it A, Masayoshi Soken? Is it B, Yoko Shimomura? Is it C, Nobuo Uematsu? Or is it D, Maki Kirioka? Masayoshi Soken, Yoko Shimomura, Nobuo Uematsu, or Maki Kirioka?
I got another bone to pick.
Saren's mad. Red 14, S50. Oh, gotcha. You are correct.
Wow. Technically, though, the answer could have been Nobuo Uematsu too. There are two right answers here. Is all I'm saying.
Kind of. But Nobuo Uematsu isn't credited with most of the music for Final Fantasy XIV.
He is
I mean,
credited
he did
with
quite a
almost
few big
100% of
ones.
the music for 1.0. And the main themes for both Realm Reborn and Heavensward.
Yeah, he did Dragon Song and Answers.
And
so, you know,
Answers.
those are kind of big. Those are
You
kind of
are-
big deals.
You are technically correct, and I would have awarded a point for Nobuo Uematsu as well.
Okay.
Man,
Revolt.
they're Saren getting stickler with these answers.
That's okay. Let me make sure I've got the right question written down here.
This
Ready
goes
for
to
a
show
for-
you how good Saren's music lore is.
Deepest lore.
I actually really like the music in this game.
All right, let's see here. Question, number 16. I'm going to find this on my list. Here it is. Next question. In ages past, the Crystal Tower indirectly led to the destruction of the Allegan Empire. By what means did this calamity undo their civilization? Was it A, destruction by meteor? Was it B, unending lightning storms? Was it C, an age of frost? Or was it D, catastrophic earthquakes?
Wait, what?
So I'll write this out. Hint. This is... This is the calamity that ended ancient Alleg. So was it a
What does
meteor?
that have to do with the Crystal Tower?
Well, the Crystal Tower was what triggered it indirectly. But was the destruction of the Allegan Empire by an umbral calamity caused by a meteor, lightning storms, an ice age or an age of frost, or catastrophic earthquakes?
Nope. That was text.
Am I missing a Shion? Oh, yeah, you're right next to me. Herpaderp. Your name's yellow and it's in the
No,
yellow
sorry.
B on my screen, so I didn't see you.
I wish you had a fun answer in here.
I know,
I'll go-
I know.
I'll go death by meteors.
Death by meteors. Death by penguins!
Choco.
If you
meteor.
put like Choco Meteor, I would totally pick it.
Alright, we had a little bit of hesitation here, so let's grab a countdown.
Streaming while playing. Like, why would you use nameplates? That defeats the purpose of playing the game.
Time is up. And the answer is D, catastrophic earthquakes. It was known as the Calamity of Earth. Serencaeum and Icy.
I mean, I knew earthquakes, but how does that relate to the
No,
Crystal
it
Tower?
was, so all of those options were calamities. Is the
Yes.
problem?
Meteor was the one with Bahamut. And Age of
Yeah.
Frost was the one right before the flood, as I recall. Lightning storms was the second calamity.
I would like to know how were they triggered by the Crystal Tower, though?
So the Crystal Tower was basically a giant ether conduit, and it tried to siphon off power from Delmood. But the Crystal Tower being, a big stationary tower, as it channeled that much energy, it triggered seismic events all across the continent, which just completely destroyed their civilization and buried the tower for ages.
Where in the world is that mentioned at?
Well, part of it's during the Crystal Tower quest line, and part of it is by talking to the Sons of Saint Coinarch.
NPC dialogue, the bane of my
Yes.
existence.
See, I kind of knew that it was earthquakes. I just didn't know what the Crystal Tower had to do with it, though.
Yeah.
Two more questions.
I'm still losing, so whatevs.
So both of these are outside Final Fantasy XIV. Just by luck of the draw, the very first question that I wrote was the very last question that the random number generator spit out. So. All right, so the next to last question. Our friend and colleague Kryl actually appeared in an earlier Final Fantasy title. What was it? Was it
Oh,
A, Final Fantasy V? Was it B, Final Fantasy VI? Was it C, Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced? Or was it D, Final Fantasy IV, The After Years?
Uh, uh,
I wrote this one right before I went to bed, and I had a hard time picking some red herrings for this one.
I'm gonna say D because the name, the after years, sounds like a terrible anime.
I feel like we've had this conversation at some point in the middle of the night.
I will be playing Final Fantasy
can't
XIV
remember
After
everything
Years
Kai-
on Kai Plays.
I can't remember everything Kai says at 2 in the morning.
I can't remember everything Kai says either, and I'm Kai. I talk a lot, guys. I don't know if you knew this.
I'm sorry, you were saying something?
No. Just waiting on Icy to make a pick. I'm going to start a countdown here in just a moment. Time is up. And the answer is... A for Final Fantasy V. It's Saren and Shion. Yeah, so you actually have Galuf Baldessian as a party member for a good portion of the game, and then for circumstances I won't get into, he leaves your party, but is replaced by his granddaughter Kryl, who inherits all of his abilities.
Things and trying to their confusion.
Okay.
Nobody like
I don't even know what 5 is.
Me neither. I knew it wasn't 6, and the rest was a guess.
5 is an odd duck, with some of the funniest translation errors that have become memes throughout the years, including You Spoony Bard, and the fact that the main character Bartz was originally translated as Butts. Yeah, I'm mature.
does a sacrifice void the body down?
It's the last one. Everybody lose now.
No.
No, you can. Fuck that.
Everybody die.
Let's make this last one
That
with
didn't
10
work.
points.
The only person you're having to deal with
This
this.
one goes
Double or
way
nothing.
back to OG Final Fantasy.
Oh God.
Games only Kai has played.
I'm sure there's more people that have played Final Fantasy 1. It
If this was like a
defined...
if this was a Jeopardy style trivia, it would be like, I'll take games only Kai plays. Alex.
Alright, so here goes. Which of the following was not a playable job in the original Final Fantasy?
Bullshit.
Is it A,
And they commit
Master?
suicide.
Is it B,
Hey, it's like bullshit
Ninja?
because gaming
Is it
will grow
C,
forever.
White Wizard? Or is it D,
Show me how to do
Chemist?
that.
Oh my God.
Gaming has the prediction and has proven time.
What
Uh,
White Wizard? That's just.
Yeah,
Mm.
does not respect the staff.
I feel like there are tricky options here.
This is meant to be a tricky choice to make. This is the very first one I wrote. I was like, you know what?
Have on the script. And he's going around.
I feel like Kai is pulling his shenanigans again.
I am pulling a little bit of shenanigans on this one.
I
I wanted a couple of them to be stumpers, but for every one of these, I put finish this quote. Such devastation.
Well, that was only one. You only had one finish the quote. You know how many quotes of this game I can finish?
I also put Prompto in there as an option, to be fair.
I can quote so many things in this game.
The whole thing about on the video, like I just said, it's about gaming's rule breaking by still fighting after they had a body.
Time's up. And the answer is...
G.
Like, it's not like the situation that
I should just be like,
I
E, none of the above, you're all wrong. Now the answer is D, Chemist. So Shion and Icy get 1 point.
when he killed.
White Wizard is the upgraded job name for White Mage, and Master is the upgraded form of Black
And
Belt.
we can do weapons.
And Chemist is not a thing. And Ninja's actually been in basically every single title ever.
I knew there was a white mage in Final Fantasy One. I just didn't know if it was going to be one of those cheeky things where it wasn't actually called white mage or whatever.
I try not to get too pedantic like that, but I will throw in weird curveballs like that.
I don't even know what Final Fantasy One looks like.
It looks
Yeah,
like
should
the
be
movie.
like 2 and basically like 2 and 3.
It looks, yeah, and it also looks like the beginning of this game. There's a crystal, there's some warriors. Go find crystals and whatever.
Cool.
All right, I need to open a notepad in another window.
Don't take a left turn, because if you take a left turn, you're suddenly in a cave where everything is a lot higher than you and turns into a frog and you die.
Oh, okay.
See what the hell's going on here with this situation.
You gotta admit though, for how far back those games were, they were quite expansive.
Yeah, there's a lot to them.
Yeah?
Laura's online. She can take care of any admin shit.
Oh my god. Okay.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3.
I shall stay in the water now.
5, 6,
Either way,
7, 8,
fine.
9,
I will
10,
shall drown in my misery.
11.
Okay.
yeah.
I'm not telling these up in any particular order. I just like the first one that I come across. The first unique instance that I come across for each.
At least you could dive under the water.
You met your requirement. Then you met your requirement for the week. You're allowed, like, it's not even a requirement. It's just a request. Let's go do something else. Fuck it. You will when there's a giant red river. You should keep, you know.
I keep losing count. This is really hard.
While you do that, I'll be right back.
Fine. You know you want to just wait it for forward. Chop on it. It's fine. I'm. Damn.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 again. Okay. We get a tie. Nobody's under double digits so far. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16. Alright, I've got the total number of points tallied. Now I just got to divide those real quick into new and old. I actually don't have an easy way of doing this. So I think we're going to go with plan B. Because without going through here and having to resort each and every one of these numerically, I think what we'll do is we're going to have one prize go out to everybody, and then the other prize is going to go to whoever scored the most points.
Okay. But is the prize for the one that scored the most points a better prize than the one you're just gonna give to everybody willy-nilly?
Technically, yes.
Okay. Then I concur.
Because instead of giving 3 prizes out, which is 1 prize for the best for 14 knowledge, and another prize for the best for classic knowledge, and then a 3rd prize for just the best for overall points, the prize for the best per category is going to go to everybody, and then the best for overall points is just going to go to the person with the best overall points.
Then that's fair.
Okay.
Then just give Shion his prize. And that goes on his list.
All right, in 5th place, we have Cass Faircloud with 16 points.
Hey, really? I wasn't last?
Tied for 3rd, 4th place at 18 points. We have Saren and Cam.
What?
What? Hey, you said we go together.
I mean, okay.
At 2nd place with 20 points total is Icy Wrist. And of course, 1st place at 22 out of a possible 28 points is Shion Lumina.
Shenanigans.
And of course.
He's not here, so I'll take the prize on his behalf.
Okay.
We actually have to swing back by the house to pick up the prizes.
How'd we do?
I actually just got done announcing the points.
You lost with
You lost
2 points.
10 points.
Ah, that was close. Who won? Came? Or...
No, Saren, obviously.
You can just read the chat.
Yeah, it was Cass.
Oh.
Cass won.
I did exactly how well I thought I would.
Well, I mean, 16 out of 28 is pretty darn good. Nobody got in single digits.
Well, that's only because I followed people a lot.
I do admit to being a trend follower for some of them. Not
I
proud
think
of it.
I only knew a solid like 3 questions.
I know a fair amount of them. I'm glad I knew some of the more obscure ones.
My question is, and I don't know if you can tell me, Kai, is did I only miss the 114 question?
I would need to go back through my list here. So what I did is I had the random number generator spit out 28 numbers, and then I wrote next to each number who got it right.
Right.
But they're not grouped into new and old questions. Anything over 14 I know is a newer question. So I can answer that for you as soon as I hand out prizes. Let me do that first.
It's fine. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I can give you some statistics just as soon as we get these passed out here.
Did you miss any 14 questions? I don't think you
Yeah,
did.
because I missed the
All
geographical question.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I just don't
Yeah,
remember
that's
if I
true.
missed any other one.
probably not.
I don't think so.
It's a whale of a time.
That's why I asked the question I did in the staff general chat, because he has a reputation of not being respected.
Yeah, we have the goodies
Or
here to be
staff.
able to pass these out. All right. For you. If I can open my inventory, we'd be off to a good start.
I Right now that we're back in a more blue mage setting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Where I will trade these to you guys.
Thank you.
Of course. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you?
No.
Nice. Where'd Icy go?
Right there.
There we go. And then, of course, here's your point for participation, and here's your point for coming in first place.
Woo!
Is it? I forget.
The zoo horn and the Thavnarian onion.
Hey, that's a lot of money.
It is. I actually don't have a zoo horn though, despite the many times we've given them away. I don't have one yet.
I look forward to seeing everybody for the rest of our Founders Week activities. We've got
Yeah.
hide and seek planned for tomorrow. There's, of course, the fashion show coming on Saturday. And then we have movie night on Monday. And then, of course, the Chocobo Parade on Tuesday.
Yeah.
What time is the hide and seek tomorrow?
Most of the events take place at 7, so it's going to be at 7 p.m.
I should be okay with 7. I gotta work late tomorrow, but I should be home before 7.
Sounds like a plan.
Alrighty.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up our stream. I want to thank the people who stopped by to view, and if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, consider a commendation, or in this case, the like and or subscribe button, and visit our Tiltify campaign available in the description below. Till next time.